ahead and find that position that feels comfortable in the hips. So a nice cross-legged or some sort of comfortable position. Legs don't have to be crossed. They can actually be straight here as well. So let's start setting the tone. And if you are using oils today, let's set the tone with the oils. So I'm going to start today's practice with Douglas fir. Anybody who knows me knows that I love the tree oils. So if you have it with you, a drop or two in the palm of your hand, or even just out of the bottle, if you don't feel like putting it on your hand, rubbing the hands together if you can. I want you to spend just a moment here and just really inhale whichever oil you're using. And of course, just really nice relaxed exhales. Let's just take a few of those breaths. Now you can continue to breathe in the oils if you wish, maybe even rubbing the oils on your neck a little bit so that you can smell it during your practice. When you're ready, you can set your hands on your lap or even on your knees, whatever feels better for you. Closing the eyes, sitting heavy on the mat. Bowing into the heart center, just starting to tune into the feelings. In today's practice, we're going to focus on the practice of Aparigraha, which is the 7th of the characteristics of the yamas, and it means to take only what is necessary, not to take advantage of situation or to act greedy. The practice of taking only what we have earned, because of course, if we take more, we're exploiting someone else. Or the hoarding of things, as so many people do, implies a lack of faith in yourself to provide for your future. So in today's practice, we'll focus on letting go of attachment to things and understanding that impermanence and change are the only constants. I encourage you to take a moment now to set your intention for the practice, maybe allowing it to be surrounded around releasing attachments. Now, Jimi Hendrix once quoted, "When the power of love overcomes the power," let me say that again actually, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." And just breathe that in right now. It seems to be a very, very true statement. Seems to be a lot of power struggles in the world today. Knowing that any change we want to see in the world begins with us. So focusing on the power of love. Breath, gently open the eyes. Let's come on to hands and knees for a moment here. Tuck those toes under. Okay, so the knees and the feet and the big toes can be touched together. We're going to flip the toes under and do a toe sit. So remember, there's a couple of options here. So as you sit back, sitting into those heels, you can stay here, allowing just a little less intensity to occur. You can always sit up onto the knees anytime you need a little bit of a break, or sitting into sitting right back onto the heels. So we're going to breathe into this. We're not going to hold for long, only for 1 minute. Now, what sometimes feels better for me is if you really walk the feet back so that you're sitting right on the balls of the feet if you can, not allowing the weight to go right on the toes. Now, again, remember, if you haven't done this for a while, it's going to feel a little uncomfortable. Allowing yourself to breathe, coming in and out of it in any way. Remember coming up or sitting back. Maybe even the hands on the ground, depending on where you're at. Every day is going to feel different. Some days you're going to feel good. Some days you're going to, maybe it doesn't feel so good right now. And on the next breath, gently release, tapping those toes to the ground. From here, let's allow the toes to come close to each other and the knees to go wide. So essentially we're sitting back onto the heels. And from here, we're just going to come forward into a child's pose. So sometimes the reason why it's nice to sit back here is to remind you to ground your hips into your heels. And then from here, taking the hands to the floor, see if you can keep your hips onto the heels or as close as you can. And either come onto the elbows, maybe the hands into the forehead if you're not feeling like coming all the way to the ground, or allowing the forehead to come right down to the ground. Taking a few nice big inhales and exhales here. Just fully surrendering to the ground. Maybe if it's been a week since you've practiced, just notice. Maybe reflect on the week. How did the body feel? How did your mind feel? Were you able to take some time for self-care, or is this the first time in a week that you've really been able to take care of yourself? On the next breath, just lift up a little bit and let's walk both hands over to the right hand side. Staying here for about half the time, but just really pushing into that left shoulder. Staying grounded into the hips. Now remember, if this is bothering the knees, feel free to bring those hips up a little bit and kneel on the knees. Now on the next breath, slowly begin to rise up, go right through the center and go to the other side. So again, if the knees are starting to bug you, you can just come up a little bit, give them a break, and then settle back in. Just allowing yourself to listen to the body, feel the body. feeling this along the right side. Side of the body, side of the back, even into the shoulders. Resting, relaxing the head. On the next breath up, slowly begin to rise. Coming back to the center, let's come a little bit higher on into the hands and knees. Then from here, taking that left hand or left arm right underneath the right armpit. So underneath, so we'll sit a little higher. You can also sit lower in your hips if you wish. But we're coming down, resting the head on the ground. The right arm can be extended overhead or elbow just resting on the ground. Allowing yourself to relax, surrender to the floor. Nice relaxing breath in and out. Notice where your mind and body are at right now. Just inhale and allow that right arm to come underneath the shoulder. Gently coming up through the center and switch right on over to the other side. So right arm through the left underneath. Drop that right shoulder. Hips up high. I want you to focus on fully surrendering the head to the ground. Just let everything relax. Just a good space of surrender, allowing you just to really tune in and see where your body's at right in this moment. I want you to really focus on the energy and releasing the energy Giving everything that doesn't serve you to Mother Earth. Almost visualize the tension, the stress, the baggage, everything leaving. Taking another breath here. And on the next inhale, coming up to the hands and knees. And from here, dropping those hips to the floor, coming into Sphinx pose. Now you can also come a little deeper and go into seal, and that's with the straight arms, but just making sure that your back is feeling okay with it. So elbows right underneath the shoulders, hands to the ground or palms together. Sometimes I like that. Shoulders down and away from the ears, chest proud. Now the Aparigraha is actually one of the central teachings in the yogic texts, the Bhagavad Gita, in which one of the teachings often can be the most important lesson of all to learn, and that is, let your concern be with action alone and never with the fruits of action. Do not let the results of action be your motive, and do not be attached to inaction. So what this is essentially saying here is that we should never concern ourselves with the outcome of a situation, but concern ourselves with what we're actually doing in the moment as we work towards that outcome. For example, maybe you feel like you're worrying about what might come of the effort that you put into a project at work, or a holiday we're planning, or a meal we're preparing, that we never really enjoy the work or the action itself. So we often worry if it'll be successful enough or good enough when we put our hearts on the line just to show the world what we're made of, and we forget why we are doing it in the first place. So release it and just go for it. Enjoying each step along the journey. Just a couple more breaths here. Now on the next exhale, gently allow your chest to come to the ground. Rest your left cheek on the stacked hands. And from here, bring your right knee up towards the chest, 90-degree angle, and then your toes up to the knee. So basically frog pose, left leg is straight, knee and ankle at 90 degrees, hips as square to the ground as you can, so coming into half frog. In these next few moments, I want you to visualize maybe something that you're working towards. And too often we think about the end result, and although the end result is great, it's what happens in every step along the way that gets us to the end result. I want you to visualize maybe a project, maybe something that you're working on, and see yourself actually taking the steps, doing the actions, being in the moment, enjoying the journey. rather than always focusing on that end goal. Almost visualize it as if you're walking through a meadow or a beautiful forested hike with twists and turns and different obstacles in your way, but you just look around, you enjoy it, you adjust your path, you take it all in stride. And on the next breath, then we release that right leg, so straightening it out. And let's just shift right over to the other side. So from here, you're just going to allow your head to rotate to the other side, so to the left, resting your right cheek on stacked hands. Gently draw that left knee up towards the chest, making sure that the hip, the knee, and the ankle are at 90 degrees. Allowing yourself to push your hips towards the ground as much as you can, opening into that inner thigh. So even a practice like yoga, such a great way to practice the Aparigraha, because sometimes we're always thinking about, oh, I want to get more flexible, or just want to get through this, whatever it is. Gives you an opportunity to just sit in the pose, enjoy it, even if it's uncomfortable, but enjoying the ride, knowing that there's a reason for doing it. Remembering to make any adjustments that you need to, just so that you can get to that point of stretch and allow it to be a position that you can settle into. Now on the next breath, slowly begin to straighten that left leg. Now we're going to bring that right knee up again. Okay, so in that same position, the only thing is this time we're going to extend the left arm, and I'll show you this way. So essentially the left arm is going to come right out from the shoulder. Okay, so it extends straight out, opening into the chest. So really focus on keeping that shoulder to the ground. So you might have to kind of open the hips up a little bit more. Let's push the shoulder to the ground. Let the head rest on the floor. Pop those hips up off the floor a little bit. And then from here, the right hand can just rest on the floor. It can rest behind your back. Just allowing it to relax. And finding any position that works best for you. Maybe adjusting the hips if you need to. The focus here is the length in the chest, on the right chest and shoulders. Sorry, on the left-hand side. Now as we breathe and relax, notice how it feels on this side before we go to the other. So from here, release that right hand to the ground, straighten into that right leg, and just switch to the other side. So left knee comes in, right arm extends off to the right, pushing the shoulder into the ground. Open up into the hips if you need to, just to push the shoulder and the head to the ground. Completely release, relax. Allowing everything to stretch open. Now as we sit here, just notice how great it feels just to move the body. Noticing that progress is encouraging, but it doesn't need to be the only reward. Just recognizing that just the joy of the practice is the greatest reward. Just realizing that kind of releasing yourself from any goal and just enjoying how good things feel can be very freeing. You do things just for the love of doing things rather than feeling like you need to do something. It definitely frees you. On the next breath, straighten into the leg. And from here, let's push back into child's pose. Feet together, knees wide. Just fully relaxing and surrendering the head forward, either arms underneath the forehead, stacked hands, or arms extend above the head to the floor. Allowing yourself to fully surrender. Take a few extra deep breaths here. And on the next breath, slowly begin to rise up. Let's just come into a seated position for a moment. Let's take that left knee forward and we'll set up for 90-90 or deer pose. So the left leg can be forward in a 90-90 position. So 90 hip, 90 knee. Then on the ankle, 90 degrees. The right leg is going out to the right side. Making sure you kind of make any adjustments that we need to. Taking the hands, square them up to that front knee, and then when you're ready, either staying here or allowing yourself to come forward. Maybe coming onto the elbows or even right down to the ground. Ideally, if you have a block or a bolster somewhere nearby, or using your hands, allowing your head to relax down. Just allowing a nice gentle opening in that left hip. let this time of stillness be an opportunity, again, to continue to release things that no longer serve you, release any attachments and worry. Think about releasing what no longer serves you. That also not only goes for the energetic baggage or toxins, but mental as well, but also physical. Right? What do you have in your home that just not serving you anymore? Like anything you can get rid of and lighten the load. Clear out your space. Release some heaviness. Maybe in your mind, visualize yourself just donating some things or throwing out some things that need to be thrown out. And just notice how free that starts to feel. See your space getting lighter, see yourself getting lighter. Now on the next breath, slowly begin to rise up. And let's just switch over to the other side. So you're just going to take the legs and flip. Making sure you're taking a moment though and taking some time to set up into that 90-90 position. So look at the legs, notice their position, allowing yourself to get into that right proper position before coming forward, getting your block if you need it, and slowly starting to release into the pose. Allowing yourself to take one more nice relaxing breath here. And when you're ready, slowly begin to bring yourself up. Moving anything, props or anything that might be in your way. And let's just slowly make your way onto the back. Hugging the knees in towards the chest. Gently rock side to side. Allowing yourself to come into a figure 4 position, right ankle over top of the left knee, drawing the left knee in towards the chest, opening the hips. And of course, option here would be pigeon or swan pose, if that's something more like you're feeling tonight or today. Also, another option for figure 4 pose is to actually let that left foot come to the ground. Ankle stays on the knee, but just extend and push the right knee away from the body. So different feeling here. Can feel a little bit more relaxing though, and then just gets into the hip a little bit differently. Tune into the relaxation. Feeling the floor being supported or supportive to the body. Again, tapping into that feeling of peace, enjoyment. Allowing yourself to really enjoy the process. On the next breath, you can release the legs. Slowly and gently switch to the other side. So again, you can either just ankle over top of the right knee, pushing that left knee away from the body. You can just actively push with your hand. If you want to, maybe option, draw the knees in towards the chest. And the nice thing about yoga, and of course Aparigraha, is that, especially with yoga, is sometimes it's a practice of releasing attachments to what we think we should be doing. So perhaps there's a suggestion in the posture and you think, oh, I just can't go there right now. I need to take it back. Then take it back. Maybe you're just like, all right, Shavasana, that's it, I'm ready. Go into Shavasana. Maybe child's pose or another posture that feels more relaxing. Or maybe today is a day that you go a little bit deeper. You're thinking, I need to push myself a little bit more, so that we're never attached to the outcome or what we feel like we should be doing in this moment. That's where yoga is such a beautiful practice for that. So maybe the hips aren't feeling great tonight. Maybe you just don't want to push. Allow yourself to rest in that comfort. release the legs, hugging both knees in towards the chest. Gently rock side to side. Now from here, when you go into a rotation, I want you to choose whatever rotation is going to work best for you. So a couple of options: feet to the ground, shift your hips to the left, drop the knees to the right. Maybe your bottom legs, your right leg stays straight and your left knee comes over to the side. You can choose a rotation that you feel is going to work best for you in this moment. Again, releasing what you think it should look like and just going with what the body feels good. Stillness of the pose. Tuning in with every breath to how the body is feeling. And on the next breath, gently bring the legs up, maybe one knee at a time. Take a moment to center the spine, hugging the knees in towards the chest, gently rocking side to side. Placing the feet down onto the ground, shifting your hips to the right. Again, maybe legs straight, both legs bent, maybe using props. Do your best though to keep those shoulders on the ground if you can, even if it means the knees stay up a little higher. Allowing yourself to fully enjoy and relax into this rotation. Draw the knees up to the center. Gently shifting your hips back. Hugging the knees up towards the chest, gently rocking side to side. Maybe even a few knee circles, just taking any movement your body intuitively wants you to take. Maybe an extra pose, maybe reclined butterfly or happy baby. When you're ready, settle into child's resting pose. Shavasana, I should say, our final resting pose. Extending the legs straight out, maybe cuddling under a nice warm blanket. Essentially, you want this posture and pose to be nice and comfy, cozy. So shifting the shoulder blades underneath the back, allowing the palms to rise to the sky, face the sky. Gently rest in an open posture. It's a great opportunity now to just do a body scan. Is there anything else to get rid of? Anything else to release? Allowing yourself to rest in stillness and silence, and I'll bring you back shortly. On the next breath, make it a little deeper. Slowly start to wake up the physical body by gently wiggling the fingers and the toes. Slowly start to bend into the knees, hugging the knees in towards the chest. Gently rocking side to side. When you're ready, allowing yourself to shift over to fetal position, resting the head on the arm. Just enjoying this position for a few breaths. And on the next breath, slowly begin to rise up, finding another comfortable position. If you're finishing off with an oil tonight, go ahead and do so. Use bergamot this evening. Bergamot's a citrus oil. Really soothing aroma and very good for the skin. And very good in Earl Grey tea. Just to allow yourself to inhale the aroma of the oil if you're using it. Allowing the shoulders to drop away from the ears. Remembering this week as you move away from your mat just to focus on the journey. Enjoying and finding joy in every step along the way. Not focusing too much on the end goal. So until next time, wishing each one of you love, light, and many blessings. Namaste.